This is AC Starlord, aka Austin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Halloween, or tonight is Halloween, and I watched the episode of Chucky last week, and this week, and then which is also last week's, and then the episode. Then I also want to talk about the episode that happened the week before this last week. So, the week before last week's episode was, of course, we got Jake, Lexi, Devin, all trying to figure out this trying to figure out what to do with the good Chucky. They turned the good Chucky, good, and then essentially things happen to the kids without Chucky being around. I mean, Chucky's around but not being around. But anyways, that Chucky doesn't want to spy on them or do anything. He just wants to help them out. So Chucky, for a very short story, very short, Chucky sends in one of the other Chuckies send in a big buff Chucky, and yeah. So there's that. If I don't remember, if I didn't already talk about that, but there's a big giant buff Chucky, in that episode, and then we're hopefully find out what's gonna happen to that Chucky next week, maybe, or if that Chucky's still around, the big buff one. Now, for not this week's episode, but last week's episode was about Glenn and Glinda and Jennifer Tilly. And they all have, or Valentine, that's what her real name is, in the show, with Jennifer Tilly. And they all have a mystery dinner party with all of her celebrity friends, even her twin sister. And Glenn and Glinda are trying to help out Nika. And in the process of that, they have this mystery dinner party, and their mother is trying to get them away from that room. Well, Glenn and Glinda already know, because there's a flashback scene that Glenn and Glinda come across Nika, and they also, before you see that, they also ask their mother who is Nika, and she kind of tells them, "No, it's someone I met, coming across like a mental I donated from, and blah blah blah." So basically, this episode had different chapters, like 3 or 4 chapters, kind of like a Quentin Tarantino film, kind of in a way where he tells his stories by chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. Stuff like that. It's a Quentin Tarantino kind of episode where there's 3 or 4 chapters, and there's different chapters, and it's like a mystery who killed the butler. And then eventually the butler that ends up becoming a security guard pisses everyone off because about Glenn and Glinda and their pronouns and stuff like that. And then they had to solve the mystery who killed the butler. And then basically Glenn and Glinda get Nika out, and Nika gets saved by no other than Andy Barclay's adopted sister, Kyle. Kyle is alive, so we know Kyle's alive, not dead. Of course, in every slasher movie, if you don't see the body, that doesn't mean necessarily they're not. That doesn't necessarily mean they're not dead. That could be that they're alive. So, and then Glinda goes with Nika and Kyle, and that's pretty much it. Jennifer Tilly throws a fit because she escapes, and the rest of the people at the dinner party don't know what's going on. That's something they think that's a performance she's putting on, because you know, she's an actor. And then you find out like Jennifer Tilly's sister is there, and then she also was an actress. It's a lot of different things that thrown at you at once, but basically Nika gets out, and then Glenn and Glenda find out Nika also has Chucky inside her body, because Chucky calls both of his children shitface as a term of loving term, but that's not a loving term, but to Chucky it is. And then Chucky opens up the episode like a talk show, and you have the doll that was in the first episode or so, the Belle the wedding doll, and of course she doesn't say nothing, but of course that's referencing Jennifer Tilly being that doll, kind of. And then you see Chucky towards the end of his little talk show thing, and they're like, oh, and Chucky's like, well, they probably didn't see me kill anybody or say the F-bombs, and like, so he brings on some wrestler named Megan. Her real name is Megan, but he brings out some wrestler, which is kind of cool. She was kind of dressed up in like leggings of his sock leggings with stripes, and same thing with arms, her arm kind of things, and then some leather. And she goes, they show a little thing that she was talking to one of the people on the from the show, and said, look, I would love to be killed by Chucky, you know, and stuff. And then Chucky brings out a knife as like, not like a joke, but like kind of like a joke, brings it out a knife and starts stabbing the wrestler girl. And she's like, you know, I'm just kidding, right? And, you know, he says the F word over and over again. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. But I seen behind the scenes of that wrestler girl, she actually enjoyed being on that episode and actually getting killed by Chucky. So really, you know, she was joking and all that stuff. And we know this is not real, but she enjoyed being on that show. So anyways, regardless, this has been Chucky's episode 3 and 4 recap. So yeah.